Hey guys, it's Sandro here, and today's video is a bit of a look at the official launch of some Sonix products as well as their Australian training event.
You're all here, so obviously these are the top detailers in the city. I'm Stefan Rausch. I'm running Sonix Australia. The gentleman here, I've got Christian. He's the international master trainer from Sonix. So I promised him a drive all the way from Brisbane to Sydney to Melbourne, and he said, "Okay, I'm in." So now he knows also how big this country is.
Now, a couple of months back, I got invited to a Sonix training event here in Melbourne, which was the last stop of their Detailing Academy tour, as well as the launch of some Sonix products new to our local market. This turned out to be a great day, learning more about the brand and meeting the people representing and running Sonix both internationally and locally. For you guys that don't know, although Sonix has a long history in the detailing space, it's really been the last couple of years that the brand has landed here in Australia. And even more recently decided to release additional Profiline products here locally, even certifying some local detailers to use their pro-level ceramic coatings. All in all, I think this was about Sonix getting more serious about making a real impact in our local market and bringing training, support and knowledge from the brand to our Aussie shores, which was fantastic to see firsthand. Now, during the event, which included about a dozen local pro detailers attending, we had a chance to interact with Christian, Sonix Global Master Trainer, that really has a wealth of experience behind him, as well as Stefan, who's heading up the Sonix Australian branch, and many of the team members with great valuable knowledge to share. The day was partly about better understanding and going through Sonix Profiline range in particular, and then seeing many of the products in use firsthand from their prep, correction and coating professional range. There was also a focus on their new to Australia ceramic coatings, including CC1, which is their single layer entry-level pro coating, and CC Evo, which is their two-layer higher-end professional focused ceramic coating. We all work differently as detailers, and I'm always curious to see how other professionals work in terms of style, technique and methods, and having a well-experienced detailer that exclusively works with a specific line of products like Sonix is always a great way to better understand how to get the most out of that particular brand. It was also nice to see some familiar pro detailers I know from Melbourne and meet some new ones for the first time. Now, at the end of a great, informative and enjoyable day, I was asked by one of the staff if I was interested in taking home and further testing a couple of the newly released products here, including CC Evo and the Ceramic Detailer, which aren't currently available here. I did thank him, but was also a little hesitant. I know it may sound weird, but almost every week I get emails or messages about some business wanting to send me something. It's not like I'm not appreciative, but it's also a burden in many ways because time is just so limited and there's no way possible to test and review everything I'd like to. So after being 100% transparent that I couldn't make any promises if or when I'd even get to test those samples, his response was just take them, and whether or not you test or review them is absolutely fine. And for that, I was thankful. So a couple of months later, I did get the chance to further test them out, and here we are. Now, this isn't going to be an in-depth review, as I really wanted to focus more on sharing my experience from the training event, what I learned while testing the products a little more, and just give my overall thoughts on everything as a whole. Now, unlike CC36, which I reviewed a few months back, and is Sonix's two-layer consumer-based ceramic coating, CC Evo is their professional detailer-focused flagship coating. Now, both coatings do have very similar prep, base coat and top coat systems and even applications, not to mention they both claim 3 years durability. So one thing I did ask at the training event was, what's the real difference here between CC36 and CC Evo? For one thing, CC Evo is claimed to be more chemical resistant and even etched to the paint with a stronger bond that should produce a little more durability. You'll also notice that the second coating layer is now in a glass bottle rather than a spray can like CC36. This is because the increased active content in the top layer of CC Evo is too strong or concentrated to be placed within a spray can. So then why are both coatings claimed to last 3 years on average? That was actually explained as more of a brand philosophy that realistically 3 years is what consumers should expect a great coating to last with proper maintenance, and Sonix doesn't want to get into the business of making inflated durability claims like 5 to 10 years that in most cases are just unrealistic. And for me guys, that response was one thing that immediately made me like the brand a little more. I've said it before and I'll say it again that just because a coating states 5, 7, 10 or even a lifetime durability, that doesn't mean the coating is any more durable than a coating that states 2 to 3 years. In my experience, it just means the coating brand is being way optimistic at best and plain dishonest at worst. Application-wise, I also got to play around with CC Evo on the training day, but in a nutshell, you start with the prep spray to clean off any polishing oils or residue from the car paint, spray the base coat directly onto one of the 3 provided applicators away from the paint, applying it nice and evenly into a small section. Wait on average just 1 to 2 minutes as it does flash and bond with a rainbow streaking effect fairly quickly, and then buff it off with a couple of cloths. Wait at least an hour, which may just mean applying the base coat to the whole car, at which point you can immediately start your second top coat layer. But apart from the top coat being in a bottle, honestly guys, it's pretty much the same process as the base layer. It may need to sit a fraction longer, but overall it's fairly identical. My conclusion is that the application of CC Evo is very close to CC36, especially with the prep and base coat applications. But I'd even say that the top coat of Evo is strangely more user-friendly than CC36's top coat, even though it's what's meant to be a stronger and more concentrated formula. But in any case, I think it's very user-friendly, quickly flashes and seems to wipe off with relative ease. The only thing you need to contend with is that it is a 2-layer system that's obviously more time consuming than a single layer coating. But as I mentioned before, Sonix also released CC1 that is their single layer Pro Focus coating. The Sonix Ceramic Detailer is a product I've been wanting to try for a while and would sit closely to their Brilliant Shine Detailer in that they're both spray and wipe sealants that are meant to last a few months. So my question was, what's the real difference between them? For one thing, Brilliant Shine Detailer contains no silicons, making it body shop safe, whereas the Ceramic Detailer does, as well as having a ceramic content, whereas Brilliant Shine Detailer has a more traditional synthetic polymer content. The other thing is the application difference and feel of both products, which I can certainly attest to. I've also reviewed Brilliant Shine Detailer in the past, and it's certainly a spray sealant I've recommended to many due to its fantastic chemical resistance, durability and hydrophobicity, not to mention that it looks pretty great. But one thing I didn't love about it was the application that can be a little grippy and time consuming to use, especially in warmer climates, though using a damp towel to wipe it can sort out that issue. It's also not the slickest finish around if that's something important to you. So honestly, some great positives about Brilliant Shine Detailer, but no product is perfect. One thing I will say about the application of the newer Ceramic Detailer is that it's far easier and nicer to wipe down with loads more lubrication and slickness during application. Now again, it's not perfect as it can smear a little, especially if you're heavy-handed in applying it. So although it feels super nice, it can still be a little more time consuming to buff. And in my case here, where it was also an extremely hot and humid day, it added another challenge. Now assessing the looks on this panel, I can see significant improvements in reflective gloss, a definite darkening and saturation effect, as well as some obvious filling or masking abilities. So all in all, there's just no denying that both CC Evo and the ceramic detailer do in fact have a strong ability to further amplify the look of paint to a great level. The only thing I will add here is that you may see some slight light flaring in the section with the ceramic detailer, which is that smearing I talked about before. On really hot and humid days like the one I applied it here, it's hard to avoid that with certain paint sealants. But using a damp cloth, as with Brilliant Shine Detailer, to do that final wipe can help sort out that issue, and making sure you limit the amount of product will also definitely help. Next was just a quick look at slickness. Going by my previous testing of CC36, I think CC Evo is really close in this area. It by no means leaves a grippy or high friction surface, but at the same time it's not a super slick finish either. So I would say it's pretty much on par with most ceramic coatings here, being middle ground in this area. The ceramic detailer, on the other hand, is a super slick paint sealant, reducing friction quite significantly, just being loads slicker than Brilliant Shine Detailer and potentially one of the slicker sealants on the market today. So let's move on to some water behavior testing. I'll start by saying that in my previous testing of Sonex CC36, it was one of the more hydrophobic coatings I've tested to date, and I'll also add that Brilliant Shine Detailer was equally one of the more hydrophobic spray sealants I've tested. So that creates quite a high benchmark for both CC Evo and the ceramic detailer to live up to. I'll also let you guys judge the results for yourselves, but I think it's fairly easy to see that both products here are on that higher end of the water sheeting and beading performance spectrum. So if hydrophobicity is something high on your list, I don't think you're going to be disappointed here. Lastly here was just doing some quick chemical testing to see how resistant these products are to breaking down. Now, just like the previous hydrophobic testing, I'll say once again that both CC36 and Brilliant Shine Detailer were two of the more chemical resistant products I've previously tested. So this is an area I've had great results with Sonex products in the past. Now, as you guys have a look at the footage, I'm just going to speed things up a little and get to the conclusions. Starting with CC Evo, I think it's fair to say it was a little degraded during the chemical hits, but I also have to say that it held up way better than I would have expected, showing an extreme level of chemical resistance that I do feel will perform great as a ceramic coating even in the pro level market. So all in all, it did surpass my expectations here and does look like it will be a step up compared to CC36, which again was also great in this area. The ceramic detailer also did extremely well, and it wasn't until I got more physical and aggressive that it started to break down. Now, compared to Brilliant Shine Detailer, I honestly think it's going to be close in terms of potential durability, as both seem give or take equal in this area based on previous testing. But for a spray sealant, I do think it's going to be a great performer here. So let's wrap up this video. Honestly guys, I didn't know if or how I was going to make a video on this Sonex Aussie training event, or how to incorporate these new to Australia coatings in a cohesive video. I don't usually do event vlogs, but after taking a little footage during the event and also being impressed by some further testing on these products, I thought it deserved a video. No product is perfect, and I'm not sure what the price point of these new coatings or spray sealants will be, but there's no denying that as a whole there's some real impressive qualities and characteristics here. I've seen many detailing brands that, like Sonix, have more traditional roots in compounds and cleaning chemicals, put out newer ceramic coatings and detail sprays that, let's be honest, haven't been all that great. So it's really nice to see Sonix move more into nano coatings and spray sealants that do seem to compete at a high industry level. It's also nice on a local level to see the brand fully launched here, meaning I won't have to pay an arm and a leg to import them from overseas, and I'm sure I'll be reviewing more of their line in the future. I'll end here by giving my 2 cents to any detailing brands that may be watching. My biggest takeaway from going along to the Sonix detailing event was having that first-hand experience of meeting the team behind the brand and being able to ask questions and participate in exploring their products in a great interactive way. This just isn't something you can experience or appreciate by watching a video. But even more so, what really stood out to me was the super friendly and family orientated feeling that projected, with no egos or ill thoughts to other brands to be found. So from my end, I not only appreciated the information and experience shared, but also the warm nature, humbleness, and just fun, loving chemistry that was obvious within the Sonix team. In a world where we spend so much time on our computers or phones communicating and researching all things, this was a reminder to me that human interaction, although fading compared to how it once was, is still king if you really want to reach people on a human level. I think I'll leave it there, guys, and if you enjoyed this video and would like to say thanks and help support future content, you can do so by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/ccad, in which I'll have a link to in the description box, or you can now hit the thanks button below the video, and thank you everyone for the support so far. As always, I really hope you guys enjoyed and found this video helpful. Please share it with others, give it a like and comment below to show support for this content, and I'll see you guys soon.